I mean, the thing is, and I said, well, thanks, I don't know, because they can't talk to adults, they have anxiety, I don't know what it is.
Turn off my ringer.
Really sensitive.
Well, yeah, that's been part of the problem. Decreasing.
All right.
Well, you
Thank
know,
you for joining us for the February 7th, 2022 Village Board of East Aurora meeting. If you could join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to remind the village board to speak into the microphone so everybody can hear. All right, Maureen, can I get attendance, please?
Trustee Kimmelhart,
Here.
trustee Cameron,
Here.
trustee Porter, trustee Rosati,
Here.
trustee Lizikas.
Here.
Trustee Shear,
Here.
Mayor Mercurio.
Present.
6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the village board meeting for January 18th, 2021?
So moved.
Is that Marcia?
Yes.
Second by Tony?
Yep.
Further discussion?
One tiny correction. Under department head trustee reports, clerk treasurer, NYSERDA should be spelled, the acronym should be spelled differently. NYSERDA. That's all.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes of the village board meeting as annotated?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve the payment of abstract for 2/7/2022 for vouchers numbers 61854 to 61909 for a total of $148,953.92.
So moved.
Moved by Tony, second?
Second.
Second by Kristen. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. All right, we're gonna have 2 speakers in communication options. First one's now, the next one is gonna be at the end of the meeting. If you have something to say, you'll have 2 minutes to state your issue. And if you'd like to speak, just raise your hand and come on up to the mic and identify your name and address for the record, please, and tell us what's going on. You, please, miss. Sure.
Oh, good, because I start to breathe heavy. Okay, so can you hear me okay? My name is Holly Maciejewski and I live at 218 Center Street. And I'm here because I'm concerned about the project that's going to be built behind us on Walnut and Prospect. And there's a lot of things I want to make clear about it though, because this began just as an effort to protect the stream that runs alongside of my property, a freshwater stream that's fed by that property that goes into Cazenovia Creek. And I speak for my husband, Larry, and I, because that's all I can, although I feel like many of our neighbors feel the same way, that we are absolutely not against that project. We think it would be good if it was done right. That's all that we are really, really concerned about. There's so many water issues in there, like about 4 or 5 different issues that have been addressed or have been sent to the board for your consideration. And we're just asking for more research. And I'll be perfectly honest, my children played in that creek and they they had frogs going down the stream and there were toads and turtles and ducks and everything like that. And I value it. And I want that to stay. And the other thing I look at with this whole thing is it'd be wonderful if my children came home, maybe bought one of those houses behind us. They can come on in our stream then, but I want our foundation and our stream and our house to be intact at that point. It's like I said, it's just not against the developer or that. And I know that they did a report, but there were even things in the report that caused concern and then things that weren't in the report that caused us concern. Those are the biggest things that we're worried about. I'm hoping to get all my thoughts in because I find the process intimidating. I had to take my sweater off. Okay, this is intimidating to be on this side of this and to try to get my complete thoughts in a reasonable 2 minutes. So yes, I'm just gonna read and see if I do have photos of our yard that I'll give to you. And I did little folders, so you could see, like, I just checked off the things on their environmental form. They did a full form, I guess, rather than a half, but some of those raised more questions. One of them, I can think of off the top of my head, is 81% of the property has poor drainage. So right away, that's like, oh, we know that, it's written down. The other issue is there is a culvert that is, I don't know if it's from 1968, that runs through our property and runs into that same stream it was put in then. And with the history of culverts in East Aurora, that definitely worries me. The age of it and the integrity of it. And I don't know, I've heard we could put a camera in there, but I don't know if that really tells the full story. And that's right. So like the first house would be right here, and that's right next door. So not being an engineer, I think to myself, wow, could that just make that fall right in? And I think maybe it could. And seeing what happened at Main and Willow makes us more concerned. The additional culvert problem is it's what I call rogue culverts, but there's culverts in there they aren't on any of these maps.
We have to make the 2 minutes is.
Is my 2 minutes up?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Well, and
Then
to-
I'll wrap it up.
But you can wrap it up and there's a time at the end, and we're
No,
really
no.
setting it down for a public.
No
hearing.
problem. So
Okay.
really, what I'm asking for just is that the integrity, that the project has all the research behind it to make sure that our water issues, diversion of water and all the different water issues aren't a problem, aren't a negative impact after the fact,
Thank
when we
you.
can't do anything about it. And
Thank
sorry
you.
I went too long. I
That's
should have
okay.
timed myself.
Thank you, Hal.
But just so
You talk
anybody
fast.
else who
You
wants
got
to
a lot
speak
in.
too, is as Bob mentioned, we are planning a public hearing in a month where everybody's views will be heard and
Yeah.
further than this.
And-
So that's really the more appropriate time to discuss all the detail.
That's why we're trying to keep it down.
And we get that, well, just as a preface, I was at the meeting Monday that Alliance Homes, the property, the future property owner put on. And, I know you guys spoke there, so I got a good gist of what you were looking for. And then I went to the planning commission meeting Tuesday and I heard it then too. So then I called you and you and I talked about it a little bit. So I got a feel for it. Give these guys a feel for it, a quick 2-minute overview. But we understand that you don't want to wait a month, to tell us to do our due diligence. We would just want to make sure that we get a feel for what you're looking for. But then again, at the public hearing, like Steve said, in a month, everybody will get a chance to be heard as well. So
Thank you.
Okay,
Next.
next one.
Hi, and I'm Sally Mitchell, and I live at 206 Center Street.
Could
So
you
right-
pull the mic down a little?
Mic down a little bit? Yeah,
Sure.
I have a really.
You can take your mask off also.
Or just get a little closer. You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, is that better? And I'll take off my
You're
mask.
fine.
That's better.
Thank you.
All right, so I live right behind the property in question, the Walnut Street development that we're discussing. Our property is at the south west end of the proposed development. I've written a letter that was dated yesterday's date. You may have received it, I hope, in the email with attachments. What we would like to ask is, we understand a public hearing will be held on March 7th, or that you were planning for that public hearing. We hope that that is not the date that you are making your final decision on this project, that you would consider that at this point, if your engineers that are hired by the village are going out to look at certain issues on the property in question, that it is right now buried under snow. It isn't the best time of year to go and look at the catch basins and the existence of the little stream that runs through there, that the National Wetlands Inventory of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has called a riverine. It's a special name attached to that stream. I attached a copy of the 1880 map of the village that we have in my house, but apparently you have it right here in your hallways. So if you could look at that, it also shows the stream. And that what we ask is that enough time be allowed for a proper study under and right now it's under snow and it's may be frozen for the next few weeks, and maybe March 7th is a little bit too premature to make a final decision. So if you can consider that, we'd like to point out that one of the catch basins wasn't even noted on the survey that was done.
Your 2 minutes is
by
up.
Alliance Homes,
Thank you.
because it was under leaves. So we're saying if it's under snow, there you won't see things. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sally.
Next,
Sir? Is that Max?
Yes.
Hey, Max, how you
Hi.
doing?
My name's Max Bonner. I'm John Hubbard's son, and we live at 168 Center Street. and,
Could you pull the mic up towards
Mike,
you?
Yeah,
is
sorry.
right. Just
Um,
thank
Yeah,
you.
tilt it up
Max, you can take your mask off if you want.
and get real
It's
close.
just easier if
Thank
you take it off and, speak.
Like many others, we're concerned about the drainage, and our house, we have a sublot that is next to our property, which is as low as, if not lower than, the field which they plan on developing. And the reason, well, I asked at the Monday meeting if they had looked into the soils, and their response was all soils in East Aurora don't perk. But I wanted to look into it, so I decided to make my own soil map using the web soil survey. If you'd like to take a look at it. This is the map I produced. And this is the map from the web soil survey. And basically, the majority of the soil there is within the Rhinebeck soil series, which it's mainly a silty clay. And the water table depth is, only 18 inches in average for this series. And it's classified as a poorly drained series due to the clay. And we're just worried that with the development of that soil and compaction of the soil and building up of the foundation, that further drainage will go into our backyard and make it a pond, essentially. So, with that being said, thank you.
Thanks, Max. Did you say 18 inches deep for the water table?
Yes, here, I will. This is the Rhinebeck series.
I love a good gravelly loam.
A little more in depth. I have more maps if you guys would like to look at them as well.
Feel free to email them into us.
My email address is on the website. You
Okay.
can.
Thank you.
All right, thanks,
Thank you
Max.
very much.
Anyone else? Hi, Sean.
How y'all doing?
Nice.
I think most of you know me by now, Sean Heinberg, East Aurora, 168 Center. We, as Max has said, our greatest concern, number one, we're not opposed to the homes, okay? But number one, the drainage mitigation. How are we gonna handle it? It seemed to be completely ignored at the last two meetings. The discussion was off the table before we could even get it on the table. We did subdivide our property when we moved there, so we have a building lot. And that lot, I had been offered, a very reasonable amount of money. We all know what the real estate market in East Aurora is doing. We don't want that to devaluate. And I'm not just taking this for myself, but everyone on our side of the street, Center Street, will take water. There's no doubt about it. The first two houses up on Prospect, the answer was, we're gonna put bubblers at the street. That's great for roof shed. That water then goes on to Prospect, down the corner, down Walnut, which as storm sewer already handles over 60 houses right there alone. My son stated the compaction of soil, the digging of basements. We're just gonna keep building those lots higher. They're 600 feet deep. That is the back of my line. Fertilization, runoff, it's a major concern. We would just like to know that it's properly looked at, and the time to take to do that is now. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean. Anyone else? All right, I guess just to give everybody a heads up on this, we have a lot of mechanisms in place that the village does to make sure projects like this are done right. I mean, and they're rare, but you know, we have a process. We have our DPW running cameras through the culvert. We have our village engineers, GHD. They're gonna get us a report either end of this week, early next week on the project. Wow, that's so loud. Your time's up, Sean. We have, you are very efficient, nicely done. We have a stormwater specialist who's gonna do a report on this and get back to us in about 3 weeks. All this information will be available to the public well before the actual public hearing. Liz, do you want to shed any more light on some of the things that we're doing to make sure this project is as least impactful as possible?
So we've been in contact with the DEC and the Army Corps of Engineers, my office. Erie County Soil and Water, Mark Gaston is a phenomenal local resource with regards to all of this. I have a call into him to schedule a meeting to discuss that, and the secret committee will be meeting later this week pending the GHD comments regarding the environmental assessment form.
Thanks, Liz. I know after the planning commission heard this on Tuesday, they sent it over recommending approval, but the one consideration was that we did our due diligence on all the hydrology and all the drainage. So just, I want you guys to know that, yeah, we hear you, we're on it, and we're gonna make sure. And you know what, the developer's doing it the way, right, we need it to be done in the village. Individual dwellings, right, not a bunch of condos, not a little cul-de-sac, right? We got it zoned the right way. They're coming in with houses that hopefully fit with the nature of the neighborhood. The lots are in the nature of the neighborhood. So I think we can all work together to make sure that this project works for everybody. But again, we'll have more info over the next few weeks that you guys will have access to as well. Okay? Right.
I made up little things that I'll give to you guys.
Okay.
And there's something in here about green infrastructure and funding for it that I thought might be a great opportunity for the builder and us to just get ahead of. So we would do something, you know, on a 100-year-old lot that with 100-year-old homes all around it, that we would have a new green infrastructure. And I thought, what a thing for East Aurora to do, the village of East Aurora. We're always sort of trendsetters. I thought this
Sure.
is great. So it's
Thanks.
in here though, and I did mention it.
You did,
I did
okay.
mention it.
But you're gonna leave that with us?
Yeah, I have one for everybody.
Okay, you can give it to Kathy, our village administrator. She'll make sure everybody gets a
Oh, okay,
copy.
'cause I bought all these little folders.
They're nice. Do you want them back? Do you want them back at the end?
We can't reimburse you.
All right, so that ends speakers and communications. Moving on to our public hearings. Can I get a motion to open a site plan application for 189 King Street, David and Georgina Shutt at 7:19 PM?
So moved.
Moved by Paul, second.
Second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the public hearing is open. Let's see, Liz, do you just want to give us a quick high level on this? And then we'll have, is that the property owner?
I'm gonna defer to Derek.
The architect?
He is the
Builder.
builder.
Thanks, dear.
Oh my
Good
God.
evening.
Sorry.
Okay, well, first,
Up.
yeah. First and last name and your firm.
Yeah, Derek Sullivan, Buffalo Bungalow Inc.
Thank you. Lay it on us.
We have a nice house that we drew and designed specifically for the street. So positively impacted all the architecture around it, detached garage, you know, doesn't look like something that was built this year. So we kind of kept the aesthetics in mind. And there's a leftover lot on that street that we're trying to get this done on.
Perfect. Not a Miami Beach, glass
No.
and steel.
No, we
Okay.
actually gave
saw
color
it.
renderings.
I saw
Okay,
it.
yeah, so
Yeah,
we're
that's great.
trying to positively impact the neighborhood and keep with the architecture
Yeah, it looks beautiful. So you got the porch in front and then
Yes.
kind of another door off the porch that goes into the back section.
to the mudroom, and then we got a detached garage, just like the rest of the street.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
How about the square footage? What is it again?
2975.
All right. The board have anything for Derek, for Derek while he's here? All right, thank you,
Okay, all
Derek.
right, thank you, guys.
Anybody from the public have any comments on this project? Very good. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 7:20 PM?
So move.
Moved by Kristen, second by Ernie. For the discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Public hearing A is closed. 3B, can I get a motion to open a public hearing for the local law to exceed the tax levy limit at 7:21 PM?
So moved.
Moved by Paul, second.
Second.
Second by Marcia for the discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. That public hearing is open. Maureen?
Every year, it's just so that you can, if we do, we don't have our budget done yet, so we don't know if we're going to, we just, in case it happens, it's ready.
Very good, thank you. Anyone from the public have any comment on this? All right, can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 7:21?
So moved.
Moved by Paul, second by, was that Steve?
Yep.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing B is closed. Can I get a motion to open a public hearing for the local law to amend the village code section 170, was it 171? I wrote over it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Backup copy. 171-2, no, I got another copy. Yeah, thank you. Prohibited acts, noise ordinance at, let's see, at 7:22 PM.
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
Second.
Second by Marcia for the discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is open. Let's see, Kathy, you're up.
Yes, the beginning of this ordinance reads, no person with the intent to cause public inconvenience, annoyance, etc., meaning noise off of property, annoying other property owners. The proposal is to eliminate the words with the intent because anyone could potentially say, well, I didn't intend to have any of that happen. So a better way to have our ordinance read is no person shall cause public inconvenience, annoyance, or alarm, etc., by the noise that they are making that is on their property and going off their property and causing concern for neighboring properties.
Yeah, it's hard to prove intent, right?
Correct.
All right, very good. Anyone from the public have any comment on this?
Is there, speaking of this, what are the time constraints that encompass that?
What?
We got it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kathy.
Okay, so I think there are various
Why don't-
times.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't you just repeat the question so that it, for those,
Okay, all right.
for it being recorded, we'll get it captured in case they couldn't hear something from
The
that.
question was, what are the times contained in the code for noise? And Liz is looking them up. There are varying times and sometimes does it depend on the zone also or not in the zone?
I guess the point is, Sean, that's not changing.
11 PM to 7 AM with some exceptions.
That's, I thought that, I just wanted to.
Yeah, and we're not changing that at all.
Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? All right, can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 7:24 PM?
So moved.
Moved by Ernie, second.
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion?
Just one quick question. Has there been any thought recently about making something more objective, like using a noise meter to try and, you know, a decibel level recording, try and make it less subjective?
Shane, what are your thoughts on making it more objective and using a noise meter to enforce the noise ordinance, since you're the one who ends up enforcing it?
I mean, that takes any guesswork out of it. It doesn't. I think we handle it well as it is right now, but yes, if you had it, you know, this level or above is in violation, that would make it, you know, cut and dry.
No.
We own one of those, remember, from the church in the park?
Yeah.
And didn't we buy one? I don't know where it is.
We don't have one.
No.
We had one, we
I remember getting measurements
previous
back then.
mayor, yeah, had purchased one to go out and test the sound coming out of the park during church in the park. It was an issue. Or did he just borrow it from somewhere?
Shane or Kathy, can one of you look into it and kind of see what your peers do and see if, I mean, if 40% of municipalities in New York State use a noise meter, then it's something maybe we should look at, or maybe NICOM can tell us, no, you don't want to do it and here's why. But at least find out what the precedent is elsewhere.
Yes, we can certainly research that.
Shane, question, Steve, how often do you have to deal with the noise? I mean, is it once a week on weekends? Is it once a month? Is it, you know?
Generally, it's more a summertime issue. You know, probably the biggest events that we dealt with noise were the beginning of the culvert collapse when the generator was outside at that corner. There's been issues at their ice rink. There was an issue with tops at one point because of the refrigeration trucks behind there. I don't think most of those issues would have been probably in the level of measuring it, the decibels to have it exceed, because they weren't extremely loud. They were just annoyingly loud.
Mhm.
So, you know, usually it's somebody's having a graduation party and they have a band and it's 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
Something like that. But with, you know, the vast majority, when we respond and say, okay, turn it down, they turn it down.
Right.
So.
Gotcha, thank you.
So Kathy, you're gonna follow up on that with NICOM? Anybody else? All right, so we're about to vote on closing the public hearing, right? Right, okay. Sorry, Tony, your haircut distracted me. I like it. Looks good, nice. All those in favor of closing the public hearing at now 7:24, we'll amend it, say 7:27. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the public hearing is closed. Next one is, can I get a motion to open a public hearing to consider local law to amend Village Code Section 223-21, streets and sidewalks at 7:27?
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Kristen, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved, public hearing is now open. Kathy, you want to give us a high level?
Yes, this is changing. Right now, our current code has 10 days after you get a notice that your sidewalk is deficient and needs to be fixed. You need to get it fixed in 10 days. We don't think that's very practical. So that is changing to 30 days. And it was also asked if it went longer than 30 days because we were working with people for certain reasons. We always work with people when they're working towards a solution in a reasonable way. Also, this changes the ordinance so that if a person does not make the repair within a reasonable time period, then the village, either the village DPW can do the repair, or we can hire a contractor to do the repair. The homeowners then charge for their repair. We send a bill. If they don't pay the bill, then legally, according to the way you're changing your ordinance, it can get added to their village taxes.
Very good, thank you. Does anyone from the public have any comment on this? All right, can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 7:28 PM?
So moved.
Moved by, was it Paul, second by Steve?
Sure.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that public hearing is closed. Can I get a motion to open a public hearing for local law to amend Village Code Section 285-52.1, special use permits at 7:29 PM?
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second?
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is open. Kathy?
Currently, our practice has been that if you are a new property owner, even if your use is identical or similar to the previous property owner, you do not need to get a new special use permit. We have been practicing that you do, but our code is not really clear, that maybe if you're a new owner, you can just go ahead and not get a special use permit. We would like all new owners for new businesses, even if they're similar to what was previously going on, to get a special use permit. So we have all their information on file, the whole 9 yards. So this is changing it. So if you're a new owner, you are required to get a special use permit for your business if it's applicable.
Thank you. Anyone from the public have any comment on this? All right, I got a motion to close the public hearing at 7:30 PM.
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second by, is that Paul? Oh, Kristen? All right, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved? Our final public hearing of the night is now closed. Going on to official considerations, can I get a motion to approve a neg deck under the seeker for an unlisted action for the proposed site plan for 189 King Street?
So moved.
Moved by Ernie, second.
Second.
second by Marcia. Further discussion? I like it. Think they're doing it right. Gonna match the neighborhood. Sounds like they're gonna do a good project. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve the site plan application for 189 King Street applicants David and Georgina Shutt.
So more.
Moved by Marcia, second by Tony. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Congratulations, Terry.
Marcia's voice changed.
I remember when that lot was a giant vegetable garden.
Okay, so for 4B, Paul made the motion and Tony seconded. Yeah, these shields do screw with me. It's kind of can echo chamber a little bit. All right, so 4C, can I get a motion to approve a local law to allow the village to exceed the tax levy limit?
Moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve a neg deck under seeker for an unlisted action for a local law amending Village Code Section 171-2 prohibited acts noise ordinance.
So moved, or, yeah, so moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
Second.
Second by Ernie. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve a local law amending Village Code Section 171-2 prohibited acts noise ordinance.
So moved.
Moved by Ernie, second.
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve a negative declaration under seeker for an unlisted action for a local law amending Village Code Section 223-21, streets and sidewalks.
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second, Kristen. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve a local law amending Village Code Section 223-21, streets and sidewalks.
So moved.
Moved by Ernie, second.
Second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion?
One quick thought that might help. I'm thinking that there's gonna be a bunch of people who say, I don't want to go out and try and deal with it myself. Just go ahead and let DPW do it. So maybe if we're doing a form or something, we include a checkoff box that says, proceed as soon as possible. The owner waives the requirement.
How's it work? The DPW is gonna notify the resident, right?
Yes, it is the obligation of the DPW. They have a form already to go if we get a notification that one needs to go out. I don't know that we would want to always say that the DPW would be available to do it because I would expect it would depend on staffing and time of year. Matt could weigh in on that. If we don't have the DPW do it, then we could hire someone to do it. But I think we would always want to give the homeowner the opportunity to do it themselves potentially to start.
Cost more for the homeowner. Yeah. And so maybe Matt, when you're notifying them, maybe you can make that clear. Yeah. Good.
One more question. I know Kathy kind of indirectly touched on it, but to the extent that some of the recent sidewalk discussions that we've had on East Fillmore talk about root pruning, is the assumption that the 30-day clock is on hold if they're in discussion with the tree board or something, so that there isn't a problem with people saying, hey, the 30 days is up because they're waiting for a tree board meeting?
Yeah.
As I had said, we will work, anyone who is working towards a resolution in a sincere way, if they're going beyond the 30 days, we're not going to go after them for going beyond the 30 days. We will be reasonable in all cases.
I think that's fair with knowing that oftentimes it's hard to get contractors. It's just hard to schedule somebody. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
get somebody on the
Especially now.
books and they're only available in 2 months.
Or they don't show up, that's
Right.
another
You
issue.
gotta find somebody new.
Yeah, we'll work with folks. We do want to improve our sidewalk setup in East Aurora, though it's needed an update for a while now. So there's some trouble spots we got to get to. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve a neg deck under seeker for an unlisted action for a local law amending Village Code Section 285-52.1, special use permit.
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second. Second, Ernie. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Aye. Can I get a motion to approve a local law amending Village Code Section 285-52.1 special use permits?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
Second.
Marcia, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to schedule a public hearing on March 7th for a local law to amend Village Code Section 227 subdivision of land.
So moved.
Moved by Ernie, second.
Second.
Second, Marcia.
Question? ma'am?
Further discussion?
Thank you. Is that enough time for us to get all of our stuff in line? Is 1 month exactly enough for all of our reports and reviews and,
Okay,
and as some people had mentioned, snow's still on the ground, that sort of thing.
okay, this is just.
Not to
for-
kick it too far down. I know a public hearing.
This is just for subdivision of land. This doesn't have to do with, I'm sorry, this doesn't have to do with that development.
Oh,
It's
geez.
not that subdivision. This is.
Oh, I got you.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
generic.
Kathy, just want to let everybody know exactly what
Yep.
this
I
is
wanted to do
referring
that
to.
Before Steve jumped in.
Sorry about that.
No, this is solely that the subdivision of land ordinance often refers back to the stormwater ordinance, and we changed the code section that is numbered for the stormwater ordinance, so wherever the reference is, it's incorrect. So if you look at what's under your packet here, if you look at the subdivision, I'm just changing all the numbers, so it refers back to the proper number where you can find stormwater that is within the subdivision ordinance. Just changing citation numbers is all.
Any other questions on this? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Public hearing is set for March 7th. Okay, can I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for the East Aurora Farmers Market that runs from May 7th through November 23rd, 2022, Wednesdays and
moved.
Saturdays only? Moved by Paul, second?
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the renewal agreement extending the trash collection contract with Modern.
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Tony. Further discussion?
You seem to have gotten the bugs out. I
Well-
haven't heard any complaints recently.
Yeah, I think when they first got the contract and we saw the big $50,000, whatever it was, savings to switch to them, I think they didn't roll it out as smoothly as they could have. And we heard the residents and we kind of took Modern to task and sat down and met with them, and they changed account managers for our account, and they kind of put a team in place that focused on all the issues they were having. And like you said, they really tightened it up over time, and I think the complaints have gone down and things seem pretty smooth at this point. So,
And this
We're gonna
takes us
renew.
through 2025, right?
The next 3 years, so this is always an initial 3 years and then three, and at the
Extended.
end of this 3 years, you can decide if you want to go another 3, and then you have to rebid after now.
any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to refer to the planning commission on March 1st, a special use permit for 695 Main Street Dopest Doe, Joseph White.
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
Second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion? Or how?
So I got a question. So this was a bakery previous.
Yep.
They still, so because even though it's a bakery going into another, same building, same bakery and same equipment, they have to get a new special use permit.
We just approved that.
Yeah, I know. No, I know. I'm just saying, this is, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I mean, I understand it. It just seems like there's a case where it's kind of redundant a little bit, you've got to.
They do have different operating hours than the last one. that was there. Different days and longer timeframes. So it would require, because they are changing from what was previously approved anyway, if we were going with the code as it exists today, they would still have to come in and get an amendment to it.
Yeah, because it's a fresh start for another business. Okay, I get it. I understand, that's why we changed it. But it's,
We've always done it this way. It was when the code changed to this code, that they took that provision out and allowed for a special use permit to continue. The problem with that is if we run into issues, we don't have a contact person on file to be able to go back to them. We have to actually physically make it, go into the business and find out who's in charge in order to ask them questions or things of that nature.
Okay, that makes sense.
What about like insurance certificates? Do we get those when they do the special use permit?
I don't have their insurance certificates. I have their health department certificates, though.
Okay. So we
That makes
definitely need the
sense.
new owner information to have all that up to date. Yeah, and these guys are what, 5 AM to 9 PM?
He does a lot of commercial baking for restaurants. So he
He
does.
started doing mail order already, right?
Yeah, online orders. And he'll bring it up.
I'm sorry, yeah.
His retail, the retail end of his business is rather small. He does primarily baking for restaurants and, commercial accounts. But he will have some retail in there. I spoke to him.
I'll be doing some, couple outdoor tables. Did the old place have outdoor tables? I'm trying to remember. Those two little ones right in front, right? Yeah.
I thought his application letter was absolutely charming.
Yeah. There's a lot of heart in there.
All right, so, we're referring that to the planning commission. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved for their March 1st meeting. I get a motion to approve the budget adjustments as listed.
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second. Second by Tony. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Hey, we're on, doing great, team. Moving it along.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
Someone out there is gonna.
Can I get a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the transfer of funds from the building improvement reserve to the general fund?
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Kristen. Further discussion? Who wants to just give everybody an update on this?
It's just, we've had a reserve to do the remodeling at the police station. That's the money that's in that reserve. We're moving it into the general budget so that it can be spent for that purpose. We've already started some of the remodel, but the safety portion is very expensive, and that's the part we're doing next, so we need to use the reserve.
So this is specific to the juvenile facility or?
It's part juvenile, but it's also the security doors that will secure the main hallway and the two main entrances for the employees coming and going from the police department.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maureen and Shane. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to schedule a public hearing for March 7th for a site plan application for 42 Riley Street for Snap Fitness.
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Tony. Further discussion? Let's see. At the planning commission, did they recommend its approval? They did, right? What was it? I can't remember.
It's the awning
Yeah, I was at that. Was there, did they have any,
conditions?
thank you, conditions?
No.
There wasn't anything, right?
They did note that the zoning board has to approve the sign that they're proposing to put on the end of the awning. There isn't a balance where our sign code requires a sign to be on an awning. It'll be on the face of the awning. So they have a zoning application in already.
Okay. I was gonna say, I thought there was a couple issues during the discussion Tuesday night. I think the other one was related to their entrance and the propane cages, I think, for item Q, so we can get to that,
He was there, he just wanted to know where that.
where the awning was gonna end up,
Yeah.
to make sure you have room.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were both at the planning commission meeting Tuesday, and they both, are gonna have public hearings on March 7th. Both the owners were talking Tuesday about how, the one guy, Manny at Ace Hardware wants 2 propane cages. And they were trying to figure out if the awning and the propane cages would fit next to each other without getting in the way of each other or creating any sort of hazardous situation. All right, any other discussion on the scheduling the public hearing for Snap Fitness? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Q, can I get a motion to schedule a public hearing for March 7th for a special use permit for 42 Riley Street, Ace Hardware for a propane tank exchange? Wasn't it 2 cages? I know he said he wanted 2 full cages.
2 cages, yeah.
So is that considered a propane tank exchange or 2 propane tank exchange? What's the plural of exchange? Exchanges is,
Well, it's one
It's only
exchange.
one business, so
One business and one
it's just
exchange.
multiple storage.
yeah. You checking?
Be part of
Are
the
we
same
moving on?
exchange.
We just move on?
Oh. No, I was just putting up the map. He's gonna have it on the side of the building, or the front here. He had to make sure it was on the back part enough. And so there was a big enough walkway.
All right.
It's referred
so-
to as 2 cages, is
Mhm.
that what, yeah.
Right, it was, right? 2 cages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think these.
Just a bigger footprint. Flammable gas.
Which is usual too. You know, most places have exchanges 2 cages.
Yeah,
Right.
for the old ones and the new ones, maybe. All right, we didn't make motions yet, did we?
Nope.
I get approval, can I get a motion to schedule the public hearing for, this project?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second,
Second.
second by Marcia, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved, public hearing is scheduled. All right, Steve. I get a motion to
This is a different
schedule.
one.
I get a motion to schedule a public hearing for March 7th for a residential subdivision for 363 Prospect Street / 0 Walnut Street for Terrence Cobb.
Same question.
Same question.
Is it enough time? Well,
Uh,
this is different than the walnut one, correct?
no, this
No,
is.
Walnut
this
is
is-
included.
Is this
It's all of
both?
it.
It's all together.
It's
Okay.
the 2 lots on, right? 2 lots
There
on,
are 3 lots technically on Prospect. One's got the house.
One's got a house on it,
2,
yeah.
Right.
2 buildable lots, and then
Right.
6 more.
Long wall.
7, 8, 9, yep. Yep.
We do expect to have everything back from our engineers no later than the end of this month.
So between GHD and our stormwater specialist and our DPW and everybody else that we're consulting on this and we're having a look into it, we'll have 30 days to get all that information in and review it.
That's not gonna be enough time.
28.
Yeah.
March 7th, you still have storms and snow, and how can they actually visit, see the
Conditions.
conditions in the landscape and what's really there, if there's still a foot of snow on it?
I mean, there won't be moisture if that's the issue, but I'm sure that people do this, the professionals do this in the winter all the time. I don't think everybody just waits for summer.
But if we're not confident to make the decision as a board,
We don't have to.
we can push it back.
Well,
you can always table it for more time.
I want answers as to drainage. I want those answers, and I don't want us to mess this up.
Right?
No, it's not an area
This is-
that can handle it.
This is something that I would like them to actually see the landscape, the terrain without the snow and the brook, the rivulet, and be able to do an assessment without a cover of snow on it. I think that's important.
Well, it's a
Agree.
month from now, and at that public hearing, we can hear what people have to say at that juncture. And like Bob said, we can leave it open
And
and
then
push
do
it back
more-
if we're not comfortable with the information. we
Do
have.
more research after that
You don't have
date.
to vote
You
on
do
it.
not have to close the public hearing at that point. if you
Yeah,
don't
you
want.
could
Oh, you can remain, keep it open for further meetings.
Keep it
We had one
open, table,
before.
whatever. information.
Which we have done before with other things.
Right.
I would be comfortable for that, with that.
It's certainly something you would always consider. keeping it open.
And we don't have
And
to
it's
vote
yours.
at the time of the public hearing. So
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
All right, so we got options. So can I get a motion to at least schedule this for now for March 7th? So moved. Moved by Tony, second.
I'll second.
Second, Kristen. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. S, can I get a motion to give permission for the mayor to sign an updated agreement to add a full-time school resource officer, SRO, to the town police agreement? Moved by Paul, second.
second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion? You've all had time to look it over. This has been something that I've been working on with Brian Russ, the superintendent, for quite a while. We think we've got all the kinks worked out. Maureen kind of crunched the numbers and found a way to make it work for everybody. And I was at some meetings with Jim and Chuck, And Maureen and I went back to Jim and Chuck and made sure they were on board because the town did have to sign off on it before we proceeded. And the school has now approved it, the town has now approved it, so now it's up to us. This part is the town portion of it, but the next one will be with the school, the actual contract agreement. So any issues or discussion on this at this point?
The only issue I have would be is there research and statistics, and maybe you can fill us in, Chief, as to the how the SRO really, how effective is it in doing your job and even the safety of the school, and not to say that we're not a community that needs security in schools. It's a thing all over, and you can't judge that, but what are the stats on?
Well, polling stats nationwide of an SRO program is pretty diverse.
Right.
From extremely rural communities to inner city communities. The vast majority of SROs are in inner cities, but that's not relatable or comparable to what we do. I can talk about the past experiences, starting with Bill Nye, who was our first DARE officer, up to Dave Leibrock, to Joe Ferrara, who became our first full-time SRO, and then part-time after that. The relationships, first I'd say, if the school, after having experienced all these officers being in their schools in one form or another, if they weren't for this, they wouldn't want to pay for it.
Right.
So that's, I mean, they're the customer, they're the ones asking for the service. So, but on top of that, the relationships, the working with kids, it's hard. Any phase of law enforcement is not foolproof with studies on if it works. If an officer drives down a street at 3 o'clock in the morning, do you know if he prevented a crime? You don't. He may have, he may not have, but you can't put your finger on that. The same thing with SROs. If an SRO builds a relationship with a kid that's having problems, did he prevent a school shooting? Well, he might have, but there wasn't a school shooting, so you don't know. So I would refer back to the school wanting it and having had it and not having it now. I would relay that on their expertise of if they feel it works.
And again, they're paying for their portion of it.
Right.
And so in the summer, we get the benefit of having the extra officer to help us out during all the festivals and everything. When our other officers, want to take vacation and people are using overtime, we'll have an extra officer to help cover that and take care of that. So that's kind of the side we'll see.
Right.
And then whatever intangible benefit it plays out into the community from the schools, we'll have that benefit as well.
And I know where this is coming from, Steve, but all the other pieces are already in place. The counselors are there. Other services are already ingrained in the school. We work with them daily. This is just an extra piece to the puzzle.
Sure.
If I could interject, I represent half a dozen school districts.
Okay.
Mostly in rural or similar communities, to East Aurora. And to a school district, they have them because they have found them to be, good in building a rapport with the children and, just not there really for policing from the standpoint of crimes going on, but let's face it, a lot of younger people have a distrust unnecessarily, but they do, and this has helped build a lot of bridges I've seen, and I've talked to a lot of officers over the years in different communities. So schools want them.
I think one of the key things too, it's important for the public to know that that SRO is not supposed to be the school disciplinarian.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think
SRO has
that's a
nothing to do with school
misconception.
discipline.
Right.
They don't discipline kids whatsoever in the schools. That's up to the school administration.
One other quick question. This formula is different than the one for the part-time SRO. Are you expecting to change the part-time formula at some point, or is that just on hold for now?
The part-time position was kind of customized for Joe Farrar, the union, when I talked with them, DBA made it clear that was specific for Joe Farrar. This full-time position meets their need at the high school. The school has talked about, Brian has talked about wanting down the road to get a part-timer at some point. That may be something that falls entirely under the school's budget. But we'll kind of have to see. They're not looking to do that right now. So it might be something we address, in September down the road.
Yeah, Tony, just so you're aware, when the SRO part-time position began, Officer Farrar retired from the police department. And the school was having some financial difficulties and they didn't feel they could afford another full-time. So they worked with the police department in the village and twisted Joe's arm to come back part-time at a much lower rate than, and he was only working 20 hours a week in the school at that time.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussion on 4S? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. All right. 4T, can I get a motion for the permission for the mayor to sign a contract for SRO services with the East Row School District?
So moved.
Moved by Paul,
Second.
second by Marcia. Further discussion? And again, we needed the school to approve it and the town to sign off on it for our village town contract before the village could then create this new position. So now that they've both signed off, it is on us to approve. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve 2 new members for the East Aurora Fire Department, Dennis McCarthy and Stephen Kaminsky Jr.?
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second by Kristen. Further discussion? Are they here? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Great. It's always nice to have more volunteers for the fire department stepping up. I get a motion to give permission for the mayor to sign a service contract with Rico for a new copier with approved language from the village attorney.
Someone.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Paul. Further discussion? Maureen, you want to give us a highlight?
A new copier and a scanner. We've just been going back and forth and we need to buy it because the other one is very old. So while the attorneys are figuring out all the details, we pretty much have it settled. Rico was the lowest for the contract period and gave us an amazing click rate, which is fabulous.
All right. Any other discussion or questions? All right, so part of the service agreement is, what do you call it, per click, right? It's like
They
a penny
pay
per click.
clicks. You just pay, it's less than, we paid less than a half a penny for the black and white clicks, and we pay less than 3 cents for the color clicks, which is fabulous.
Excellent. All right. Thanks for your work on that one, getting that right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. We added a couple new items to official considerations. We're going to add 4W. Can I get a motion to approve the Hamlin Park agreement with the town? We need to revote on it. And Kathy, you want to just let everybody know why?
Yes, we're adding one item. This is exactly the same as you approved previously, but the town came back again with another change, a final change, and it is signed now by the town. They wanted to add the current practice, which was not specified in the agreement, that the town pays for all of the utilities for the recreation building as part of their participation in helping to fund things, because they use that all summer long for the recreation program. So that is now part of the written agreement that they pay all the utilities for the recreation building.
All right. So can I get a motion to revote on the Hamlin Park agreement with the town?
So moved.
Moved by Paul, second.
Second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion?
One clarification. At the town board meeting, there was a lot of discussion just about electric meters. I'm assuming that this written agreement actually includes all utilities like water and stuff as well, correct?
All utilities for the recreation building, and then there is a depiction of the recreation building on the attachment.
Great, thanks.
All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Approved. And 4X, can I get a motion to hire a structural engineer to inspect the storehouse on the Raycroft campus?
So moved.
Moved by Ernie, second by Kristen. Further discussion?
Hallelujah.
Getting there.
That's only the first
It's a
step.
good step. It's a step.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. All right, there's no new business we haven't covered. Going on to our second speakers and communications. Anybody like to speak on the topic? All right. And department head report, Shane.
Matt and I have been discussing the request to look at no right turns at Olean and Maine. If you haven't noticed, the DOT went through and put new signage in to alert traffic to pay attention to right turns at that intersection on all four corners. So it's probably at best right now to hold off, see if that has any impact. You guys did get a copy of the foil that was requested from my department regarding the accidents the last 2 years. There were 8 accidents, but none of them had any bearing on a right turn on red. I think the vast majority were rear ends or striking parked cars. And one pedestrian struck, but again, that wasn't a right turn on red. It was a pedestrian not yielding to the crosswalk sign. And a driver turning from Main Street left onto Pine Street. So at this point, we'd like to just keep an eye on that and see if the new bright yellow signage alleviates any of the concerns there. Other than that, we had a fairly interesting case the other day. We got a call of barking dogs in the middle of the night out in the town, just outside the village. And there was 6 dogs kept outside with nobody home. And no water, no food, barely any shelter in sub-zero temperatures. We had the DCO come out and secure the dogs for their welfare. We also contacted the SPCA who got involved, and they came out and got a search warrant for the house because nobody was apparently residing there at this time, and there was 24 dogs in the house, also all different ages, in cages, some free. The SPCA did seize those dogs. Subsequently, after that point, one of the dogs had puppies, so there are 6 more dogs included in that. So it's been quite the adventure with that, and we're still investigating. We know who the owner is, who owns the house, and where they are. But we're dealing with the dogs now. Liz has been great helping us with that. The house was condemned. And we're still moving forward with that. So that's it.
Thank you, Shane. Matt.
We're still working on snow removal.
Really? All right, Liz.
I don't have anything tonight, thank you.
Kathy.
So Shane just mentioned, Liz did do a nice job getting when she went into the house as far as, and determining that it didn't need to be condemned, so she went right on herself, but I can do it for her, so it was a great job. We have a team, originally yourself and myself, Mayor, and then Maureen's been added, we're working on PBA union negotiations, that's ongoing, will be for a while, I'm sure. We are working on budget. I have 2 meetings later this week with department heads, with Matt and Roger, our fire chief. So we're working on that. And we got really great news today. I don't know how many years this is running, maybe a tree person knows, but we got approved again. This is a many subsequent or successive years in a row that we were approved to be a Tree City USA. And it's a kind of a big deal this year, probably only because Arbor Day throughout the country is 150 years this year. So it's gonna be a big Arbor Day, and we were approved to be a Tree City USA for the 150th Arbor Day. 1998, in fact. So good work for all the people who do all the good work that makes it. Jesse Griffiths has started the application. I finished up online, and the tree board, of course, does a great job with all of that.
Yes, they do. All right, Maureen?
In addition to the budget and union negotiations, I've been working with the town on this room and the microphones and getting some new technology that works for us. So I have another meeting tomorrow, but we're gonna try to actually get a camera installed in here and get the microphones fixed and maybe get a different company. So I'm working on that.
Appreciate it.
Does that include the potential for live streaming? The meetings, or, sorry, but.
Can you hire a technology person to live stream the meetings? I think that might be better so that I can go back to being the clerk. I think that would.
So how does the town do with that?
Right now, one of the council people does that. And he says it's too much to do to pay attention during the meeting. That's why I've had an extra clerk at all the meetings so that they can do the minutes, because I clearly can't while I'm doing this. So I think if you wanted live streaming, you probably want to hire a technology person whose job it is, because I'm doing the best I can, but that is not my forte. I'm a really good clerk treasurer.
I think the chief, as I recall, was quite good at it, right?
He's a police chief, though.
No. Thanks.
Be a good idea to get a kid to do it. All right, thank you. Going on to the board members. Paul, anything?
I'm all set.
All right, Marcia?
I've got two items. First, just want to let everybody know that Orlando Monaco, who is our contact for the Friends of Sinking Ponds, made a donation to the village of 8 wildlife photographs that he took, and they're quite lovely. And they are going to be featured in the village hall so that the public can view them. And then starting in mid-April through the month of May, they'll be on exhibit in the public library. So hopefully more people will see them. And then ultimately, they'll come back to the village hall. So,
Nice.
so that's nice. Secondly, I was contacted by ACES. There was an article that ran in the Advertiser, I think it was last month, where the Ormsby Center, the construction technology team, I think it was a construction technology class, was looking for some local projects to give to students. And they've done those sorts of things in the past. And my understanding is that they were involved in the past in at least repair, if not actually building some of the more decorative trash cans that we've got on Main Street. And I know that we often hear that there's never enough trash cans. So I was thinking that maybe this would be a way that we could increase trash cans and also collaborate with the Ormsby students, give them a project where they could get some credit and the village could get some benefit from it too. I'm assuming we would, obviously have to pay for materials, and I don't know quite how the original trash cans were constructed. I think it was in coordination with the Rotary Club.
It was Tom Bojanowski. built them.
Right, okay, yeah.
And I think they were sent to Ormsby to be refinished and,
Spruced
right,
up.
Matt? They were sent there to be reconditioned.
They built a couple new ones and reconditioned a few of the other ones.
So I'm wondering if that might be something that we want, maybe get some additional ones, or maybe they're not going to be quite as elaborate and beautiful as what Mr. Bojanowski created, but at least something to increase the numbers, especially during the summertime. So, I don't
Sure, I
know.
think it's nice. Want to reach out to the principal at Ormsby? I know I called and talked to them and they said that they got a lot of responses to their post And there was a lot of people saying, hey, could you build a deck around my pool?
Right.
They said it was a ton of those.
Yeah,
But they said they'd love to do something community, beneficial.
okay.
I think that's what they were holding out for. So that would be a
Okay.
great idea. Reach out to the principal at Orange.
So
Beach,
find out kind of what might be involved and
what they're
we-
capable of
right.
maybe, and then, yeah, maybe
And how full their
Rotary.
schedule is, right?
Yeah, their schedule. Maybe Rotary finances it or the staff, or we finance it. And they do the work and they learn in the process.
Okay, great.
Yeah, nice idea, Marcia.
Okay, thanks.
Kristen,
All set, thank you.
you got a capital committee meeting
Yeah, it hasn't been scheduled yet, but yes, coming up sometime this month.
this month?
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that. Ernie?
And walking around town and talking to people knocking on doors. I've gotten a lot of compliments for the fact that the sidewalk plow's been going around as often as it has. And the sidewalks seem to be in pretty good condition this year. The frequency of the sidewalk plows going out, and it's been appreciated, Matt, so people like that. It's made it easier, so thank you.
Hey, so Matt, how's it work? Your guys go out and plow the roads, and then after that's done, then someone goes around the sidewalks, or it's simultaneous? And sometimes there's a plow with the plow shears on the front, and then sometimes I just saw the other day the one that was kind of snow blowing into the sides.
And when the banks get high enough, we have to take the blade off and put the blower on. It does a better job, just a little bit slower.
Yeah. And then they do it after they're done plowing the roads?
A lot of times the sidewalk plow is out at the same time as the street plows, but it's just a much longer process, so it continues out days afterwards.
Yeah. And I know we had a discussion, I had some residents ask if the sidewalk plow could do the new track at Hamlin, that people could use it in the winter. And you said it was an ice thaw thing, right?
I don't recommend that due to the freeze thaw cycles. It generates potholes and heaving. Better to leave it covered up.
That'll be applicable to even just a path like that as opposed to a full road.
Yep.
Ernie, anything else?
No, that was it, but it was a lot of positive feedback on that. I heard probably a dozen people told me that they appreciated the frequency of the sidewalk plows, so that's it.
Thanks, Ernie. Tony?
Nice to see the banner that was put up at the traffic circle, focusing on our Olympic participation. That was it. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, I got a couple residents called me and asked what the village was gonna do to kind of commemorate this. I don't know how often we've had an Olympian coming out of the village of East Aurora. So I found a guy in Niagara Falls Boulevard who could do it, turned it around pretty quick. I drove up and got it, and then Matt had his guys come in on Saturday and move the snow all out of the way and get it set up in time for the start of the Olympics. So it's really exciting. I think she goes, the 12th maybe is the first day for ice dancing.
I think that was.
Yeah, but really, really exciting for her. I know she's been working, her and her teammate have been working on that for a long, long time, trying to get in. And they came in third in the US Championships, which got them the last spot to get to go. So it's really exciting for the community, and we're all hoping for the best for them.
The only other thing that occurred to me was going back to snow removal. Some of these mounds that are on the street side of the fire hydrants have turned into concrete. So there may need to be some help trying to kind of break through the barrier. It's not so bad if you come in from the sidewalk side, but if the goal is to try to have access from the street side as well, it probably will need more help.
Matt, you guys clear some of the higher mounts out with, you shut off the street, right? And get in there with a lift? Yeah. You do the street intersections as well? I know I saw you up on Main Street clearing that out for the pedestrians.
The intersection, the corners,
Yeah, I think
we-
that's what Tony was referring to.
yeah, we clear those, and then we've also been going around to other parts of the village where there's higher pedestrian traffic and clearing those intersections at the corners.
Well, you bring it all to Fireman's Field?
No, we use a snow blower.
No, I mean, you just blow it out of, well, because I remember when we had that big storm, that 7 feet, you were piling it all up at Fireman's Field,
That's
right?
where we're higher, that's where we're storing all the snow that we take out of the parking lots. Which is just about every time it snows, we have to go in and load it up and haul it out.
right, thanks, Matt. Anything else, Tony?
Nope, I'm done.
All right, Steve?
All set.
All right, that's it. I mean, I've been doing the PBA negotiations with the union guys for the police, with Kathy and Maureen. And we're rooting for Caitlin Hawaiiak. COVID's still a thing. Please be careful. And we're gonna go into executive session. And briefly, just to discuss a legal matter, but we don't expect to vote on anything after we come out. So in advance, I'd just like to thank everybody who came out tonight. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So move.
Moved by Steve, second. Second by Paul. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're in executive session. Thanks all.